All right, folks, I see this question a whole lot. What is the best kind and the cheapest sand that you can possibly get for an aquarium? Stay tuned. I'll show you what to get, where to get, and how to get. All right, so folks, welcome to SandersAquatics. Once again, we're going to do another phenomenal video for you guys. So I have just set up this tank. If you've seen that in our last video, showed you kind of some of the guys that we have in here, what we're doing with this. So my eventual goal with this is to go through and breed Brachyardes. Brachyardes, when you're breeding them, they need a sand substrate. That's the best thing for it. It allows them to go through and dig and root. So we're going to get this tank. We're going to go out and we're going to get some sand. So come along. I'm going to show you guys where to go through and get it. We're going to show you how to prep it, how to get this tank set up. So stay with us here. The next one you're going to see, we're going to be at the start picking up what you need to get. All right, so here we are. We have made it to one of two places that I know where to go through and get the sand that I'm talking about. The two places I thankfully live in small town USA, and we have both of them here. So if you're looking for this, you're going to find yourself either a Rural King or a Tractor Supply. Both of them carry what we're looking for. So we are at the toy store for grown men. That's right. Welcome to Rural King. All right, found what I'm looking for. Here we are. That's right. Some best you can get. Let's see how much it is. No clue. They didn't post a price on here. So we're going to find out what we're about to pay. But you want to get about a pound a gallon. So these are 50-pound bags here. So let's see what we pay for them. All right, back in the car. We have our sand loaded. That's right. We got 100 pounds of black diamond blasting sand. And I have used this in many tanks. What did we pay for 100 pounds of sand? Check this out. Insane. That's right. $25. $25 for 100 pounds of substrate for your fish tank. Go anywhere else, you're going to pay triple that, quadruple that, just to go through and get 75 pounds of what you need. So check it out here, this next part. I'm going to show you how to clean it and get it ready, and we'll move on. All right, guys, we're back home. We have our black diamond blasting powder here, and it says here on there it needs to stay dry. That's going to be a lie. I'll get ourselves a little something to drink here, wet the whistle a little bit so I can keep talking. You guys ever drink grape soda? I do. You ever notice it doesn't taste like grapes? It tastes like purple. It's funny because you know what I mean. So what you want to do, get your bag. This is the only knife I can find at the moment. It's like Crocodile Dundee style there. This is a knife. Get your bag open. Get you just a little 5-gallon bucket. You want to fill it about 3/4 of the way full. Your stuff has got a lot of powder in it. But you can get most of the bag in here. You want to rinse this stuff really good. So what we're going to do, get your water hose, get her turned on full blast. I almost got my wife wet. All you got to do is get in and just start getting this stuff as rinsed out as you can do. We're going to have to hurry because it looks like we got a storm moving in over here. So you get the initial bit of it out of there. This stuff is nasty when it first does it. I recommend to not do it somewhere because it's going to bother anything. I do it out in the grass, so that because some of it's going to get out. It's just going to happen, but nobody's ever going to know. And your wife or your husband or whoever's going to get mad about you getting it all over the driveway ain't going to get mad this way. But I take the hose and I run it way deep down in there. It stirs up everything. Look at all that muck. You just keep on rinsing this until basically that gets clear. You get down deep inside of it, so it's stirring up the sand and the dirt and the muck down there in the bottom. Look how nasty that is. Stuff's got to be rinsed really, really good. But remember, you just saved yourself probably $100 just in substrate. Now I'm only going to need about 75 pounds of this. So I'm not going to need quite all of this just for this one tank. But we're going to go through and get all this good and cleaned out. And then I'll actually take the other 25 pounds. And I got plenty of tanks that are bare bottom that I could use some sand substrate in. So we'll go through and do that. It ain't taking a whole lot. This is already starting to clear up pretty good. See, we're getting way down in there. We're stirring it all up as good as we can, getting all the muck and grime and grit. And you're still going to get some that's going to have to be filtered out over the course of the next day or two. But you see how clear that's already getting. What have we been out here now? 3 minutes, 4 minutes, maybe 5? Not very long. My wife's telling me it's been 3 minutes. I guess she's got the timer on the phone, watching how long the video's running. Well, we've been here 3 minutes and we just cleaned 40 pounds of sand out. Not too shabby there. We're gonna run it a little bit longer, but that's coming out almost clear. So that's the cool thing about this is the stuff as dirty as it is, it really doesn't take that long to go through and get cleaned out. We're gonna run it a couple more times here. That's right. We got it all good and cleaned up. Look how clear that water is right now. You can see my hand floating down in there. You can see some of the sand floating a little bit, but we're 4 minutes. And so for that entire 75 gallons, it's going to take me all 8 minutes to get my substrate clean. And we saved $100. I don't know about you, but if I made $100 every 8 minutes, I'd be doing pretty good. I'm going to stir it all up one more good time here. Get your bucket good and cleaned out. We're not going to sling the hose because we almost soaked my wife a minute ago. I kind of like her. We don't want to do that. That's right. Whew, just soaked my foot though. Gonna get as much of this water drained out as you can possibly get, because this bucket's gonna be heavy. All right, ready to rock and roll. All right, we're gonna get this down in the basement, start getting it put in. I'll show you how I do it with a full tank so you can do it yourself, but come on with me here. All right, so now we're downstairs. We've got all of our sand rinsed off, or at least this first 40 pounds rinsed off. We're gonna get it in the tank. We're gonna show you how we do this. The easiest way to do this is to not have your tank filled up. I have decided between when I set this up and I was going to use it as grow outs for the Grammies and the Brichardies are at the point that they're ready to breed anyway. So I'm going to use this tank as a breeding project for these guys. So I needed to go ahead and get some sand in here. If you're going to do it and you're going to put it in there, you want to get it in there and then basically take you a plate and set it on top of the sand and fill the water on top of that plate so it doesn't splash it around. Because this is going to stir up a bunch. It's still going to make a mess doing it this way, but it's less messy this way. But if you look at the tank now, we got our tank here. And then I'm going to bring this up just because it's kind of a cool thing here for us. You know, if y'all been watching, we've been growing and maturing here a little bit. And I've been asked several times on what we're using in our tanks and what kind of products and stuff we're using in our tanks. And we're actually become some affiliates with a couple of different folks. So we may not know how to do this right, so we're going to try it. So the filters that we use in this tank and this tank and this tank and that tank and that tank and that tank and all these tanks that we have, almost every single tank we have has these same filters. It's these guys right here. We actually get them They're from a company called Higer. They go through, we actually buy them off of Amazon. So we're going to attempt to attach a link to this and see if we can do it right. And pardon the bristle nose, he's making a whole bunch of noise over there. We're going to attempt to get this thing and set it up there so that if you guys want some of those, go through and do it. It'll help support us a little bit. So bear with us if we don't do it right. But I think we got it. So back to the tank. We're going to go through. We're going to get some sand put in here. If you're doing this with the tank filled up, it's still going to make a mess. It's still going to be some cloudiness. But the way to prevent as much, basically get you a cup or something, get you a whole cup full of this stuff, and try to easily get it down in there and not stir up as much as possible. And gently just lay it down there on the ground. Okay, we didn't stir up that much, I don't think. We're going to do this a whole bunch more times. So as we're doing this, and we're sitting here and we're showing you guys how to do this, so I'm going to ask some questions. Maybe some of you guys out here are YouTube creators and you're having a good time with this, and we're having a blast with it. Our purpose behind this channel was to go through and show folks how to breed fish and what we're doing in our style. Maybe it's not what everybody else does, and share information. But this is a very expensive hobby for like probably anybody watching right now understands how expensive this hobby is. And we've had recent abilities to go through and do partnerships and things along those lines. So we're starting to look into some of that. We get a lot of questions on what are you using? What is this? Where do I get it? And apparently there's a lot of folks out there in the world that reward you for sharing that information. So we're going to go there and we're going to go there and attempt to share with you guys as much as we can. And hopefully we can get recognized by some of these folks and go through and get some kind of reward for it, which would be pretty cool if you ask me. I'm pretty excited, actually pretty excited about it, because I've never gotten rewarded to go through and breed fish other than sitting there watching this. And like I said, the original intent of this was not for anything. So if we don't get anything, we're not going to shut everything down. Don't you panic. We're still going to keep sharing our info out there in the world. But if we do find some of this and you're doing it and you're growing tanks and you're doing things and you want to help us get along, go through and buy some of the stuff that we're putting out there. Because I'm going to tell you guys, like I told one gentleman, we actually had a company that approached us several months ago about going through and trying to promote their products. And I had to break their little heart because I told them that I am not going to promote something I personally won't use and I personally don't support. So that being said, if I'm putting it out there in the world, I'm having good luck with it and I'm already using it and putting it there. I will never give you guys bad advice, because the point here is for everybody to succeed and everybody to enjoy what they're doing. But as you're laying out all of this sand, we will have live plants in here. So you need it deep enough to go through and allow for live plants to be able to go through and root into the sand to be able to allow them to grow out and do what they need to do. We grow and propagate a lot of plants here. Love my Amazon swords. I got a bunch of them I'm growing out. These little fish are not real happy with me at the moment. But if you look and see, I mean, it's just night and day difference on a bare bottom tank versus what we got going on here. And we got to get some lids for this tank. I don't have any covers for these, but if you've seen what we've done in the past, we've gone through and we go to, I forget which store it is. It's one of the little craft stores, and they got these little clear plastic things that we go through and we basically cut up and make them size the top of the tank, because we still are doing this on a budget. Because I am not independently wealthy, and I still try to save money where I can. Just like these tanks here, you guys, you watched our last video. I don't know, I think it was 2 videos ago where we went through and we acquired these tanks. Look at them Brichardies. Man, they are pretty. They're mad at me. I moved the little rock they're hiding in. Boy, ain't they gorgeous. But these tanks here, as far as getting them, I didn't pay a dime for them. The gentleman that was giving them away was pretty awesome. I think he actually subscribed to our channel too, which is even cooler. But they're not free tanks anymore, but I showed you guys how to cost efficiently go through and get you some tanks and go through and reseal them so that you can have some repurposed tanks that are still good to be in your house. You're not going to flood your living room if you're putting it in your living room. Kind of cool. But we're going to keep at this here. We're going to get this. And don't be confused by the U of L Cup. I'm not a U of L fan. I'm a diehard Wildcat fan. Let's not get that twisted there. Well, big supporter of Coach Pope and what he's doing with that team, and I think it's awesome what he's doing with the team. But for any of you folks out there in the world, college sports is fun, if you ask me. I enjoy it. But I'm going to keep at this here. We'll go through, and I'm going to finish setting this up. We'll come back here probably tomorrow night, then let the dust settle a little bit. You can see it's clouding the tank a little bit. The filters are going to do their job. I'm going to let them go through and work and do what they got to do. But you can see, get you a cup, scoop the sand out, gently put it down in there so it's not stirring up as much of it as possible. But I'm going to finish this up. We'll come back tomorrow night after everything clears up, and you see how pretty this is. All right, so we were going to wait a full day to go through and let the cloudiness go through and settle. But apparently we did a really good job, and cloudiness is pretty much gone. So your final product, check her out here. Look and see what we did here. We've got this. I've still got the gouramis in here. I'm going to get this 55 set up to go through and remove the gouramis too, so we have a grow out for these guys. But the Brichardies are in here. I didn't bother go through and straighten the sand in here because if you've ever had Brichardies, they're going to do what they're going to do. They're going to uproot it. They're going to move it around. It's wild. Alicia laughs at me when they go through and they do this kind of stuff. But we give them a little bit of live plants in here. They seem to like the live plants. They started eating some of the last ones, but we go through and we propagate the Amazon swords and the valves. So we've got some of that in there. Going to have to get some root tabs for it because this is a very new setup tank, and we don't have the fish poo and the sand that we need to go through and get these things growing. So we'll get some root tabs in there for the plants here, put them in there tomorrow. But we appreciate you guys. You got any questions, comments, anything, please feel free to let us know. Stay with us. We'll get another great video out here next. Thanks for watching SandersAquatics. Like and subscribe.